All right, guys. First of all, welcome to 3750 summer session, spring 1 session. I'm Andy Reed. I'll be running the course. I'll be doing the instructing. I decided to go ahead and do a weekly meeting. Previous versions of this course are entirely online and sort of self-taught or self-motivated. I thought that I would meet with you guys once a week and on a Monday night and just check and see how everyone's doing and take questions or deal with issues, whatever comes up. I don't anticipate this being a lecture as such. Like I'm not going to cover course material. It's going to be more administratively based. So that's my approach. I will be recording. I am recording right now, and I will post it for later consumption. If I find as we get a few weeks into the course that there's not much attendance, then I'll stop doing it. It's certainly not required. It's just hopefully helpful to you guys to do this. So I definitely want to do it this week though, to get the course kicked off in the right direction. If you have not done a summer course before, it goes incredibly fast. We run at exactly twice as fast as the regular course, and there's no reading week or any other sort of break along the way. So if you look at the syllabus, and we'll walk through the syllabus here as part of this, you'll notice very quickly that you've got things due this week. So please stay on top of it. You'll find that I'm not a forgiving person in terms of deadlines. The only way I know of to be fair to everybody is to enforce the deadlines uniformly across the entire class. So if you get 5 weeks in and you've missed a couple quizzes and you're reaching out to me, it's not likely to happen. I mean, if you have a medical reason or something legit, I'll certainly consider every application. But typically, I don't let people do things after they're due. So, and particularly in this short, compressed environment. Thomas Hughes, and I don't see that Thomas has joined us. He may join us. He's the workshop leader. He and I have worked together quite a few times now. We will be marking as fast as we can to keep giving you guys feedback, so that, for instance, in the discussion posts before the next one is due, before discussion 2, post 1 is due, hopefully you'll have received your discussion 1 feedback so that you can make whatever improvements. So as we go through, feel free to jump in either in chat, hit me up with a question, or just do it with audio, whichever you prefer. I will give a chance at the end for questions as well, but I certainly don't mind you guys jumping in whenever something occurs to you or whenever you need to ask a question. So any questions before we get rolling here with the syllabus? Okay, so I'll work my way through here. I just have a couple of opening remarks. The first one's about communication. So we've got multiple different ways in this course to communicate. The best and most reliable way is to send me an email. If you send me an email, please put the subject and course in the subject line. It's not as important in the summer because I'm only teaching one thing, but typically I have multiple classes. So the most common email that I send back to students is which course. So just be real clear on what you're looking for. Please be professional in your email. I will treat you with respect, and I expect the same in return. I've had students take runs at workshop leaders or myself telling me I don't know what I'm doing, or I should do this, or I should do that. If you get a mark that you're not happy with, take a breath. There's no rush. Have 24 hours, have a cooling off period, and then reach out and do it in a way that it's amicable. So it's not an emotional event for myself or for Thomas or any other workshop leader to mark or assign marks. We do it hundreds, if not thousands of times a term. And if we've made a mistake, if we've underappreciated what you did or whatever, that's fine. Reach out to us and we'll take another look at it and make sure that that the mark that we gave is the mark that we want to stand behind. I've had students, particularly in the last term, reach directly out to the dean or to the head of computer science. What happens when you do that? You don't get me in trouble. You don't cause me any inconvenience. All that happens is that the dean sends me an email saying, please reach out to this student. Or the head of computer science says, can you please reach out to this student? They won't deal with you until you've given me a chance to address any issues. So please follow that protocol. Again, you don't have to, but you're not going to get anywhere by escalating as high up the chain as you can if you haven't given the instructor a chance to resolve your issue. Most of the time it's a misunderstanding, or you didn't understand what the requirements were clearly, or we made a mistake. It's not that we've never made a mistake on a mark. So please reach out and assume that I'm not out to get you, that it was either a mistake or that you've made a mistake on your end, and we'll get it resolved. Okay. Yeah, that's sort of my opening comments about communication and marks. I'm going to share my screen here, and we're just going to walk through the syllabus. All righty. Just drag some windows around here. Can someone respond in chat? Can you see my syllabus all right? Okay, thank you. That's great. So for the most part, you guys are advanced or upper year students, so some of this may be a bit redundant, so bear with me. The first thing I would recommend doing with any course is to look at the syllabus. So the syllabus gives my contact information. You should be able to be all right with that. I never know at the time I submit the syllabus who the teaching assistant or workshop leader in this case, which is Thomas, is going to be. But I have a tab in Blackboard called Getting Started, and you'll have a little bio of me and a little bio of Thomas, and you'll have contact information for both of us. So like I said, there's multiple different ways to reach out. So I've got a tab for group discussions. I think I call them general discussions. And that's sort of a water cooler type thing. If you've got a problem or you're working away and there's something that's not particularly urgent that you want to bounce off your classmates and possibly myself or Thomas, we'll respond within about 24 to 48 hours to that. If it's more urgent than that, send me an email. If you wait until the assignment's due at 11:59 and you send me an email at 11:30 at night, I'm old and I will be in bed, hopefully soundly asleep. So I will certainly respond as soon as I can, but I don't lay awake at night waiting for email to deal with assignment questions or whatever. So the sooner the better is what I'm trying to say. You'll find me, I never do not respond to a student. That never ever happens. Now, what can happen is if you use a non-Trent email, it goes to my junk. And I think that's sort of universal and probably by design. I don't look through my junk folder every day, so it could be a while. So if you haven't received a response from me, take a look and make sure that you A, sent it to me, and B, sent it from your Trent email. Send me another communication. But if you haven't heard from me in about 24 hours, that's really unusual. So I do try and respond within 24 hours to email. So I've got this meeting time by Zoom Mondays at 5 p.m. The exception to that, I think the 24th is May 24 weekend. So I've changed that one to the Tuesday. I'm just thinking that many people actually won't be around and don't want to interrupt that that holiday Monday to listen to me prattle on. So the department, Bonnie McKinnon, is our academic admin assistant. She deals with things like withdrawals and additions and things like that to the class. She's a great source. She's pretty quick to get back to you as well. Learning outcomes, I'll let you read that for yourself. It's just what we're trying to teach in the course. At the end of the course, in general, you should have a pretty good idea of how online marketing works. And I would ask you to think as we go through the course about sort of scenarios, as opposed to, I'm not going to try and test you fully on true, false, or Google facts, things like that. At the end on the exam, there's going to be a good portion of that that's a scenario. So I'll ask you to synthesize the knowledge that you've gained and apply it to a scenario, as opposed to just regurgitating facts back at me. So that's something for you to consider as we go through. We have 2 texts for the course. They are mandatory. What I mean about mandatory is it's my very strong recommendation that you get them. One, I believe, is free. The other one, I don't think it's particularly expensive. It's not a $200 book or anything like that, for sure. But all the quizzes come directly out of the text. So I've handwritten the quiz questions. They come directly out of the text. So if you don't have the text, you're putting yourself at a serious disadvantage when it comes to doing the ongoing quizzes and with the final, because the final is going to have somewhere around half of it, give or take, will be just multiple choice and multiple answer questions. So a lot of your marks in this course are going to come straight out of that text. I would recommend, if you have an option, to get it electronically. And I say that because you can then search, you can keyword search as you're answering quiz questions, as you're working on the final. Final will be open book. So you'll be able to refer to it a lot easier than if you've got to flip through the text themselves. So just in answer to the question posted, do you need both? Yes, you need both. They overlap, but they have unique content each. So they're not heavy duty academic texts by any stretch. They're marketing handbooks essentially. So it's not a ton of reading, but what reading there is, you'll want to have the text to refer to. And I've just chosen various chapters as we go through, and I'll highlight that in a second, that on any given week. Each week is a module. So we have 6 modules, and there'll be up to 4 chapters to read. Don't get worried, that may be under 30 pages. So it's not an onerous amount of reading. Okay, so assessments. Chapter quizzes, we're going to do 6 quizzes, 1 per module. They're going to be due on Fridays. I'll talk about due dates and stuff like that a little further down. The best 5 of 6 quizzes will be used. So don't, if you blow one, don't worry about it. First of all, they're not worth that many marks. They're worth 2% each, and you do get to excuse the worst mark of it. They are due at 11:59 p.m. on Fridays. Again, in case someone joined late, I'm a stickler for due dates. When I look at it in Blackboard, when Thomas or I are marking, if it's after 11:59, and that can be 11:59:03, it says late. If it says late, then there's a penalty applied. In the case of quizzes, they shut down access at 11:59, so you can't get onto it. I don't reopen quizzes. So just please get them done by Friday at 11:59. Now, it is true that if you have it opened by 11:59, then you can keep it open and submit it. I won't be giving a whole lot of latitude because it will be marked late if it's submitted after 11:59. Discussions. I'm going to spend a bit of time talking about discussions here. Some of you, I recognize some names, have possibly been in a class of mine where I do discussions. I like to use discussions to get class interaction amongst each other. If we were in a classroom environment, I would be asking questions and getting input from various people so that we would sort of have a roundtable discussion about it. This is my way of sort of emulating that to a limited extent. Each discussion is 2 posts. One is your first response, or initial post, as I usually call it. And the second one is your response to a peer. So the first post, you will go under groups, and you will have been assigned to a group. And in there will be a discussion question, and you will respond to that. You won't be able to see anyone else's response until you respond yourself. So you'll compose a 500 to 700 word response using 3 or more cited references. Again, at the risk of being redundant, it's cited references. So if you give me a nice 700 word essay and you give me a list of references at the end, but you haven't cited it in the text, in the body, you're going to get 0 for the citations and references portion of it. So you've got to cite those references in APA format as well. Your second post will be due on the Friday. Typically, the first post is going to be due on the Tuesday. This week, it's Wednesday, just because we're just getting started. But Tuesday is going to be your initial post, and Friday is going to be your response to a peer. So you're going to read what other people have said, and you're going to respond to them with another 500 to 700 word, 3+ citation response. So everyone's going to be asked in their post to pose an interesting question, and you can respond to that, or you can respond to the body. You can agree with what people have said, and sorry, just reading a question. You can agree with their post, or you can disagree. So if you agree, that's kind of the hardest one to write 700 words or 500 words to. But what you do in that case, if you agree, is you provide more information. So you extend their argument or discussion. That's how you provide that 500 to 700 word essay. If you disagree, it's probably very easy, because it's, you can provide counter arguments and counter proof to what they've said. So that's how the discussions work, and that causes a lot of people problems. It seems like it's unclear to a lot of people. Is there anyone that has any questions about the discussions right now? We might as well try and deal with them right up front. Okay, so for now, I'll take it that everyone here is understanding. So 2 posts, 500 to 700 words each, 3 or more cited references each. And that again closes the discussion board itself, closes at 11:59 on Friday. It does not reopen. Someone asked if I could say which of the 2 texts is free. I've provided links to the text, so there's no need to get ripped off. You can go, I think it's the second text that's free. Yeah, so I've just clicked on the link from the syllabus, as you can see, hopefully. Mastering Online Marketing, Kindle edition free. Okay, don't get the paperback. Get the free Kindle edition, and then you can keyword search it as you do your quizzes and such. Let's take a look at what this one costs. Digital Marketing Strategy is $40 US. So that's $50 plus Canadian. All right, so that's not expensive as far as some texts go, but it's obviously a little more than the other one. So you're looking at a $50 or $55 investment in texts for this course. And again, if you're not going to buy the texts, even if you share them with a friend or whatever, then you're not going to do that well in this course typically. If you share them with a friend, you get into problems when it comes down to the final, because it's going to be, you're going to be competing for the text when you're writing your actual final. Okay, so I've covered 42 for the Kindle, $42 Canadian. Okay, sounds good. Yeah, don't be afraid to search for it on Amazon for the Kindle version of the text. I think there's only, it's the second edition specifically that we're looking for. All right. Assignments. So there's two assignments essentially. The first assignment's broken into two little parts. The assignments are essentially worth 15% each. The first one's going to be, the two-parter is going to be a 3% and a 12%. The 3%, which is due a week Wednesday, is, and we'll post that in the next day or two so that you can get at it. It's just a 1-minute YouTube video, just proving that you can post to YouTube, get it in a way that we can mark it. Because otherwise, if we don't do that technical checkup and someone messes up, then they lose 15% because they weren't able to post to YouTube or whatever went wrong, or they posted to YouTube in such a way that it got taken down or whatever. So it's a 3%, then a 12%. And then the second assignment is a group assignment, and we all hate group assignments. It's a group assignment that there's a little bit of common work, but the vast majority of your mark comes from your own individual section. So trust me that we're not making you be part of a group. If someone doesn't show up in your group, you just carry on without them, and it won't affect your mark particularly at all. And then the final is 40%. It is between 2 and 3 hours long. I think we're going to go about 2.5 hours this time. I've been trying to shorten them up a little bit. I typically do 3-hour exams. It will have some multiple choice, some multiple answer, maybe some true and false. I don't typically get into a lot of true and false in this course. And then we go into short answer that are usually part of a scenario. There may be a scenario proposed and 4 or 5 short answer questions associated with that. And then usually a longer essay type question. So everyone typically gets through it. There's not a lot of people that find that they're out of time at the end of it. However, if you don't study for it and you rely on Googling and keyword searching for the multiple choice will be long enough that you won't get a chance to do all of the short and long answer questions at the end of that. So it does require some preparation. All right, grading. The only thing to talk about here is the academic integrity module. About 20% of you have already submitted it. It's in the assignments section, I think. Bear with me. Sorry. Just checking for it here. It is in, sorry, it's in the assessments tab. And right at the, well, it's the only thing you'll see if you haven't submitted it. It's the mandatory academic integrity module. All it is a screenshot showing that you have in this school year, so 2020 to 2021, that you've successfully completed the academic integrity module for 15 marks out of 15. Send me a screenshot and I'll mark that. Until you get a perfect mark on that, meaning that you've satisfied the requirements, it shows me your name, shows me that 15 out of 15 mark, you're not going to be able to see the quizzes. So there's inevitably going to be someone at the end of the course, probably no one that is bothering to come and listen to this lecture, but someone will come to me at the end of the course and complain that they missed the 10% for the quizzes. But that's because they didn't bother to do the academic integrity module. If you can't see the quizzes and you have submitted the academic integrity module, take a look in the feedback in your My Grades and make sure that that I marked it and I gave you a 1 out of 1 on it. If you, for instance, didn't show your name in the screenshot, I can't mark that. So I'll give you a 0.5 out of 1 and you still won't be able to see the quizzes. Okay. So my strongest recommendation is to get that done tonight. Get that in. I'll mark it as fast as I can. That'll open up the quizzes for you. You'll have lots of time to do your quizzes before Friday night. Withdrawal date is May 27th, so that you don't have an academic penalty. If you leave it beyond that and you get 10 out of 100 on the course, that will stay on your transcript. So that's a big day. And my commitment to you guys is always that I have to have 25% of your mark in, so you have a quarter of your marks in. In this case, I anticipate you having 31% of your marks available to you to make that decision. Before you pull the chute and decide to drop the course, at least you'll have a good idea of how you're doing so far. The schedule is here. It says every date, and it tells you, for instance, Module 1, here's the chapters that you need to read, Chapter 1 and 18, Chapter 1 and 2 from the other text, and here's what's due. Academic Integrity Module is due Wednesday. That's just a nominal date so that you have a chance to, on Thursday or Friday, to do the quiz. You can hand it in whenever you want. You can hand it in after that. You can hand it in a month, but you will have missed a bunch of quizzes by then. The first quiz is due this Friday. Quizzes are going to be due every Friday. Discussions, we've got Wednesday for the first one, and we've got Friday for the second. And you're going to see, typically it's going to be Tuesday and Friday, as I've said, for the discussions. Now there's only 4 discussions. So when you've got an assignment due, you often won't have a discussion due. So just always follow around along with the syllabus, and you should be fine in terms of knowing what's due on any given week. So I've detailed it very specifically. For instance, here in Module 5, May 29th to June 4th, you don't have a discussion due because you've got your assignment 2 is due that day. Okay. I'll let you read through the course guidelines. It essentially says that it's not my fault if you can't operate Blackboard. Let me help you, let IT help you, whatever. But if if at the end of the course you say, well, I didn't know how to find the quizzes, that's really not my problem. You're expected to be proficient in that. Final exams. The final exam will be in the final exam period, which is only about a 3-day period. Do not plan to travel on that day. I will not be moving the final exam for individual students because they decide to get a jump on their summer vacation or they have a wedding to go to or anything like that. I don't have a schedule for you, but it is only a 3-day period and you are required to write the final exam along with everyone else. Make sure that your submission goes in. When you submit an assignment in Blackboard, make sure that it has successfully submitted. Again, that's it. A lot of students will forget to submit their quizzes. I don't have a problem with submitting them on your behalf. But I mean, obviously I'd prefer if you can submit them. I don't leave that as a 0, but for instance, if it was an assignment and you don't submit it, I don't really have a way of doing that for you. The quizzes I can submit because it's all within Blackboard, but the assignment's an external attachment. So just make sure it goes in properly, please. As I've said before, quizzes, they're due on their due date. The quizzes close afterwards. Same with discussions. They are generally due on Tuesday for the first post. If you are late on the first post, that's not a huge problem. You will be given a flat 10% penalty, but you could do 2 posts on every Friday if that's what you want to do, but you're making your mark out of 90% instead of 100%. Because if your first post is later than Tuesday at 11:59, Wednesday this week, but generally Tuesday at 11:59, then you will lose a flat 10%. Doesn't matter how many days late you are, but you will lose that 10%. Due dates, everything is in Eastern Daylight Time. I recognize that some of you don't live even in Canada at this point. You're going to have to conform. The due dates aren't going to change. It's not going to be your local time. It's my time. So that's the only way I can set up Blackboard. So please figure out what the time difference is and adjust your clocks or adjust your expectations appropriately. Departmental policies. The one thing that I will highlight here is email accounts. If you send me an email and it comes from your Gmail account, as I've said before, it usually goes into my junk folder and I don't necessarily see that. It might be a week before I actually see that. So please, please, please use your Trent email account. I won't correspond with anyone, even if it didn't go to my junk. I don't have a way of verifying your identity, so I can't discuss marks out of privacy or issues to someone's Gmail account, okay? Good question. When do you normally release the new discussion posts? Everything in this course releases at Saturday in the very early morning, like Friday night at midnight, Saturday morning at midnight, however you want to say it. That's when everything releases. So your quizzes will become available then. Your discussions will be available at that time. I'm trying to give you as much time. I recognize how rushed this is. So you'll have essentially very, very close to 7 days, just a minute less than 7 days to get them in from that point. You can go ahead. You have maximum flexibility that way. If for some reason you look at, you look and the discussion post hasn't released, because I have 12 discussion groups, I think, please send me an email. And I'll make sure it's not out of the question that I could mess up for one group and have it releasing in 2020 or 2023 or in February or some other mistake that I could have made. So as soon as you identify a problem, send me an email and I will resolve it as soon as I possibly can. I think that's about it. Academic integrity, the reason that I make you prove that you've taken that is if we get assignments that are handed in that are copies and things like that, I will be ruthless in doing an investigation. And if I find that there's grounds for it, I will forward the offending student's name to the head of computer science for further review and action. Academic integrity violations, the first time, they're somewhat lenient. It's usually a 0 on whatever it was that you made that violation. So in the case that it was an assignment, it's a 0 out of 15. And I mean, that's what they normally do, but they reserve the right to go as heavily as an expulsion. So it's out of my hands. I do an investigation. I don't make the penalty, but it's taken very, very seriously. And I think we all appreciate that. We want everyone else doing their own work, just like we're doing our own work. So I will stop sharing the screen here. That is really all the background stuff. I know I've rambled on for about over half an hour right now. Does anyone have any questions at this point? Are you all sleeping behind your monitors? Okay, I don't.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much for the explanation and everything. It's clear and to the point. Just a quick clarification, if you could kindly.
Sure.
It is about the course discussion.
Mm-hmm.
We're supposed to post it every week, or there is total 4 in total.
So there's 4 in total. Let me just refer back here. I'll share my screen again. So if we go, if I look at the first week, which is module 1, there's discussions due, initial post and second post. Same with 2. Then I think we take a break. The third week, you've got an assignment due instead of a discussion. The fourth week, we're back to discussions, 2 posts again. The fifth week, we have an assignment due, so no discussions. And then the final week, we have discussions again. So there's
Okay.
four total.
Okay, thank you. I was thinking that maybe it's every week there is 2 posts that we're supposed to do. So it's not like that. It's total 4 in total.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's 4 discussions in total, which is a total of 8 posts. There's 2 posts per week. When, like, if you look here, I've got module 6. I'll see if I can highlight, if you can see that. It's not a very good highlighting.
Okay. Okay. So 4 into 2, it becomes, okay, 8.
Yeah, yeah, it's a total of 8 posts, 8 500 to 700 word posts, each with 3 or more cited references.
Right.
So it's a formal, I should probably clarify, it's a formal, I don't want, even if I ask for an opinion, I don't want it in first person. I don't want you to say, I believe this, or I think this. I want it like an academic discussion. For instance, what I don't want is, I think the grass is green. What I want instead is the grass is green, and then a citation showing where I got that information from, if that makes sense.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir. It's
Okay,
clear.
no problem. Okay, I'm seeing many people responding that they don't have any questions. I don't have any further content. Like I said, I will post this. I'll chop off the first 10 minutes of waiting around, and I'll post this. If you want to refer back, please do check the syllabus. Please keep current with the announcements. I generally post anything through the announcements. So if you check your announcements every day, I would expect, especially in the summer when the schedule's so compressed, that you make an effort to log into Blackboard every day. That would be my recommendation, even if it's just for 5 minutes. Check and make sure there's no announcement or nothing's due or whatever. So I would make a habit whenever possible to log in at least once a day. And you know that the due date for many things is going to be Friday. So Friday is going to be a critical day for the next 6 weeks for all of us. And like I said, I make them due Friday, not to be difficult and make your lives miserable, but to allow Thomas and I an opportunity on Saturday and Sunday to get the marking done, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, whatever, to get the marking done so that we can give you feedback for the next round. There's undoubtedly going to be people that post discussions. They believe they're doing the right thing, and they, for instance, do the list of references and they don't cite them inside. So I will make a comment to that effect, and we will put a lot of feedback in for the first couple discussion posts, for the discussion 1 and discussion 2, and less feedback after that. Just because the expectation is that we've already told you, if you're continuing not to do what we're recommending, that's fine. But we don't want to waste our time telling you a 3rd and 4th time that you need 2 posts, or you need to post before the due date, or those sorts of feedback. Okay. If you don't have questions, feel free to drop off at whenever you wish. I'll stick around until everyone's left, and I'll continue to answer questions for you. Thanks very much, and I hope you guys have a great term.
Okay, I have one last question. I don't know if you can see in the chat. I just asked if the second post has the same outline as the first. Like, if we're answering somebody's question, if we have to do it like the 500 to 700 words as well, and the 3+ sources.
Yeah, exactly the same requirements. The
Okay.
requirements, yeah, they're exactly the same. The challenge with it is picking a good post to respond to, quite honestly. Find something, read, the groups are pretty small, probably 8 people in a group. Normally there are like 30 people in a group during the school year. But read everyone's post, find something that you can either build on, something that gives you an opportunity. If you pick a crappy post, meaning a post that you agree with 100% and you have nothing further to say, it's really hard to come up with 500 words,
Yeah.
right? So,
Yeah. Okay.
okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.